Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Testing 1 2 3. All right, guys. Making sure that you can hear me over the media music I picked. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see what that does. Um. Yeah, we want maybe. We'll see what this says. We're just kind of playing around with something for a minute while I fix the sound so you can hear the music because I want you to hear music too, guys. Well, okay, maybe you can hear music. Okay, I'm gonna turn on some music. Well, the music is on, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna turn the lights here so you can kind of see. Move the paint out of the way from when I was painting earlier. Alright, so we're gonna move the paint out of the way from my other project, which is 2.0 version. So there's that. Um, okay. So for this project, you're gonna need a lot of things. I suggest getting rulers and things. So I'm gonna gather some gear up. I'll be right back. Just kind of getting a warm up and test, see how the mic works, and we'll get started. So bear with me. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I realized my mic was off. Okay. So you're gonna need several things for this project. You're gonna need some copper wiring, and you want the kind that's like real thick. It'll look like this. I mean, this isn't what you're gonna want because it's got the individual strands, but you're gonna want to look for something that's just straight. Like when you peel it back, it's just pure copper. It's gonna be real thick and firm, that you can kind of like see it because we'll go over that in a minute about what you do with that. You're gonna need some LEDs. I suggest you not buy this kind here. I bought this kind as a tutorial, not realizing that it had the rubber over it. But it works for what I needed, I guess. Um, you're gonna need a soldering iron here. You can get them off Amazon. You can get them off Wish. You're gonna need some solder. I suggest you buy good solder and don't be like me the first time I did it and bought the Chinese knockoff of the Chinese knockoff solder. So it was like the Chinese knockoff, essentially. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just didn't do a good job. You're gonna need an Arduino. Um, I used one of the Metro Minis. Here you're gonna need one of those. And you're gonna need to know some basic understanding of code. So we'll go over that. Uh, Over here, let's see if we got Python on here. I think we might have. No, we do not know. Arduino. Alright, so we'll show you what I'm looking at here. I'm closing all the other stuff out so you don't see any of my other stuff here, which is totally fine. We're gonna do plus, window capture, add source, and we wanna do Google search Brave. Alright, cool beans. And then we want another one of these, which is somewhere on here, so that you can. Alright, so we're gonna delete that one. Okay, we're gonna do this real fast. We can, window capture, add source, and new source instead, window capture 1. And we want to do Spotify. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so you can give credit to the artist here. Because giving credit to the artist is key. When we jam the music. Alright, so, we'll go over Arduino for a second. So this is Arduino. They're a company, I think, in Italy, I think. Anyway, somewhere over there. Oh, yeah. So you can kind of look around and see all the stuff they've got. They got new things going on, kits, all sorts of cool stuff. More stuff. I don't know what some of these are. I suggest that you get a small, like the Nano. Those are what I normally use. Is the Nano, the Metro Mini. You're gonna want a small one, something portable. These are fine if you don't mind a larger thing, but I mean I got one of these because it fit my hand. You can find them anywhere online. They've got knockoffs too. They basically do the same thing. They got a starter kit, all that good jazz. So we're gonna go to software here, and we're gonna download the we'll download. We're not gonna contribute, guys. Sorry, guys. As much as I have spent. Okay, well we'll just hit download. I didn't realize that I was doing the wrong thing. Okay, guys, hold on 1 second here. Someone asked for my Twitch link, so we're gonna send that to them. If I can find Twitch. Alright. Okay, so we're just gonna download. So you're gonna want the Arduino software. That's gonna go through the whole lengthy process of like, hey, are you okay with doing whatever you want to do? And yes, of course, we're okay with that. While we're doing that, we'll go over here. Um, so they got various codes you can click on. They got a tutorial that will blink the code. But you're gonna want there is one. Um, okay, well that's not what I want, but okay. Uh, okay, we want. Alright, so we're gonna. There was a shooting at my niece's and nephew's school. Be alright though. Alright, so they've got various little things. They'll tell you about separator motors. Okay, we just don't want any of these. We're looking for. We'll go. Yeah, that's what we want. So you can generally find pre-written code. Yeah. Okay, so see, someone did this. You can do fast library, where people have pre-written code. That's what I used was pre-written code and just plugged and played. Um, so basically, what I did was boom here. You can copy and paste. Generally, what you can do is you can ask like, I want to combine these together. Okay, so we're gonna do completed close. Yeah, we're gonna give it a test run here. So somebody's written code that you don't have to write it. Makes it so much easier. Um, Someone's commenting about the GIF there. But anyway, you can generally find, uh, yeah, so they tell you like even where to find it on the library. Fast Lady Basics. GitHub is where you can find a lot of things. You can ask questions. It's a great resource. I highly recommend GitHub, where you can ask questions. Um, if you don't know what you're doing, you can say, "Hey, so I want to. I've got a." You can say, "Hey, I'm looking to do this." I didn't write my code. I'll be bluntly honest. My friend, basically, I picked out the codes I wanted. I said, "Here's the codes I wanted." He added in the filler, which basically said I can select in between by pushing a button. He's no longer alive, so I don't have the original code somewhere. I do somewhere, and I can find that. I've been searching for it. I'll have to look again. But I can get someone to write those voids and then upload something to GitHub and then give you guys that part. But this is what you're gonna want is pre-written code. Generally, you can talk to people about it. You can see like, hey, I like this one. I want. Does anybody have a scroll text code? You can ask here. Yeah. Yeah. So someone wrote a fade script down here. Um. So someone said, "Cool, I want to do this." So you can generally ask any question that you're looking for, and somebody will come back with something they've written, or send you to a link that someone's written, or saying, "Hey, I tried this, it didn't work out." Uh, so it's a great community. I highly recommend them. Well, except other cookies, whatever. Okay. So we're gonna open Arduino, and we'll show you what that looks like if it will let me show you. Yeah, Windows Capture One. We want to do this. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the camera, and we're gonna get rid of this one. Yep. And we're gonna do Windows Capture, clear at source, and use source Z at source, and we want to go to. Well, I guess I didn't open Arduino. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna largen this up so you can kind of see here. So this is Arduino. It shows you basic codes, all that jazz. What it's gonna do is when you go to Tools, you're gonna want to select here your board that you've bought. Sometimes yours is not listed. That's totally fine. You can search on Google like, hey, the Metro Mini. What do I put? In case it's not listed, and I'll tell you, hey, you'll select this one instead. So we're gonna go and we'll say. Okay, so for the Metro Mini that we own here, we're gonna select the Uno, which is automatically selected. And it will tell you whether or not your code's valid. I think I have code here. Yeah. Verify. So it will ask me to save and verify the code. So what we want to go to manage libraries. And of course it's telling me there's no library, so we're gonna get the fast. Alright, so we're gonna go to topic. Oh, we're gonna take away that. Oh, I probably passed it. Yeah, I think we did. Alright, we're gonna go up here. I'm hoping it's here. Okay, so we want this one. You can select another version. Other versions are older models. I suggest you go with the newest. If you're not sure what you've got, your package should tell you like, hey, you got NeoPixels, or hey, you got this one, or hey, you got that. It'll generally tell you. Oh, crap-a-roonies, what you've got, which is totally worth looking into. I would suggest buying mine. We'll go over showing you that in just a second. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to here. We're gonna select this, and we'll go to Yeah, okay, that's what we want. So we'll go here. Um, you're gonna learn and look for ones that are really close together. But we'll type in NeoPixels, cause yeah, but you're gonna NeoPixels are good because they're really close together. You're gonna want to look for something like that. You want the ones that are closer together as possible, and if you can get the ones without the rubber tube, that's better. Um, of course, these are waterproof. These are the ones I use because they were super close together. But they weren't waterproof. They were just straight up uh LEDs. So these are the ones you're gonna want. You're gonna want something like this that doesn't have the protective coating on it. We'll close that one out and that one out, and then we'll close that one out and. I think the ones I originally had. Okay, so they sell these. Sell these. The closer the together, the better. I mean, you're gonna want to know about how many LEDs you're gonna have. Now these are as close or the closest you can get, and they show you right there. We use snip and trim on that. On this part right there. Well, you can't. Yeah, you can. You can see my mouse there. Okay. On that little part there with the copperish bronze color. I don't know. You know. Anyway, the metal looking color. You're gonna want it. That's where you snip and trim. Um, they're kind of pricey. Um, but we'll see if we can find them for cheaper for you guys. Yeah, so that's looking about to be. I'm sure you can find them cheaper, find an off-brand for cheaper. But because it's got Adafruit, that's branding here. Yeah, branding is so much fun, right, guys? Yeah, okay. So yeah. They got various sizes, so if you don't mind farther spaced out, then that's one thing. But I recommend getting closer together so that your image is more cohesive. Um, and you're gonna come down there and other stuff, but that's not what you want. So you're gonna, if you want closer together ones, you're gonna be spending about 100. Oh wow, that's from Germany. You're gonna be spending about $100. I'm gonna take away Adafruit and see what comes up. Here. Yeah, so if you want the really close together ones, you're about $100 on Amazon. Um, I mean on Okay, so you can get them from Adafruit for about $70. It looks like maybe ones that are a little bit less closer together and less of them. Um, they're gonna be a little bit less. Um, but you're gonna be spending about 60 to $70. These are the ones I had. They were kind of like that. Um, no, those are not what I had. I thought those what I had, but I had these. Yeah. Yeah, these are the ones I had. Yep. Okay, because those are the ones, yeah, because I got the even. And they're about $24, and they tell you like 1 meter. 60. Yeah, so they tell you like, okay, so like the 1 meter. I bought one, and one seemed to do fine because I trimmed them into strips. So we'll go for that. Alrighty, guys, we're gonna close this out and show you the table here. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna need to measure your little area. And so I've got an example sheet that we'll just lay down and use. You're going to want to measure your area out, measure twice. Write those measurements down of the, like, basically most CRT heads. And we'll show you a CRT head here, so that you can see that. Okay, so most CRT monitors, when you take them apart, they've got a plastic piece right there, like this that comes off. Some of them have clips. That kind of looks like the one similar to what I had. Mine had clips in it. Yeah, so like mine had clips on it. Like on either side, it had clips you pushed in, you take it apart. And then basically what I did was I measured then the, well, that's not a good picture. We'll go back to this one. Then I measured from here. I measured all across. Like I measured all that. And then I got a piece of, we'll show you what I got next. Okay, so we'll do it this way. Yeah, so I went to Home Depot and got some acrylic sheets. I just got clear ones. They were cheap. They had small ones that were a little bit bigger. Hobby Lobby also sells them. If you're not inclined to shop at Hobby Lobby, that's totally fine. I think, yeah, I like got mine. It was like 11 by 14. It ended up being, just kind of clear acrylic. It might have been bigger than that, but it's clear acrylic. It looks kind of like that, of course. You can go and you find them down there, like the aisle they have with the doors. You can ask them, "Hey, do you still acrylic sheets?" And they'll tell you, "Yeah." They're not too pricey. I think I spent like 20 bucks on one, maybe less than that. It might have been 11. But you need to get one of those, and you're gonna need to measure this part, and then you're gonna take an X-Acto knife, and you're gonna basically measure, and you're gonna cut so that you have this piece. I also got this stuff. You're gonna need to follow the instructions. On this, I had a roll that someone had given me, so I spent maybe 50 bucks on this costume. You can get tent. Yes, I can't spell today, guys, so bear with me. You're gonna want window tinting film. It comes in a roll like that. I had some that was not the shiny kind. I got the straight up this kind. That way, when I put it in, I put it over the front side of my front side. I made it on one side so that what happens is it was on the side of my LEDs essentially. I call that the front side because it's facing me, so it's the front thing that I see. So I put that on the inside of my plexiglass that I cut. It's basically like this. So then when I turn on my LEDs, people have a hard time seeing me. So they walk up and they go, "Wow, it's cool." Because the LEDs have a light. The LEDs emit a light source, guys. So the next step is I took a sheet of paper and I measured out my size, and I said, "Cool, here's what I need." And then I made sure that it matched the plexiglass. And I set the plexiglass aside, and then I took copper wiring. It's going to be just straight up copper. And we'll just use this as an example. And I laid it on either side and trimmed so that it was a little bit longer on each side because you want to hang offs. That's totally fine. You wanted hang offs on the sides here. So we'll use this as a prime example, yes. Yeah. So it looks... Okay, so we had hang offs like this. They kind of bowed around a little bit like that, and that's totally fine. Um, and I basically trimmed my strips to fit so that I measured because I needed sheet of paper to kind of like tape down and keep me as a spacer. So what I did was I held my things there and I said, okay, I took a ruler and then I said I want my LEDs X amount apart. So I said I want them like half an inch apart or X amount apart so that I left a gap. So then I made a marker on the sheet of paper and then I drew a line across. And that way, whenever I laid my LEDs down, I could keep them there. And I made sure that the paper was a little bit, once I got it measured to fit and match everything, and I got my measurements drawn on the paper. I trimmed off either side, the left and the right sides here. I trimmed off. Oh crap! You can't see it. You totally missed all that, guys. I'm sorry about that. So we'll start over. So once I measured, got the window tint film on my CRT head and everything on the plexiglass. I laid that down over a giant sheet of paper. You can get craft paper for this, or you can use. I suggest using cardboard, like poster board. It'll be much durable and more durable in the long run. And I said, cool. I need a ruler, and I'm gonna measure about how far apart I want my LED strips. And so I knew with holding my thing out there, I held one and then I marked the bottom of the paper, kind of like so. Like I marked it as wide as it was. And I said, I want them about a half inch apart. So with my starting line, I marked a half inch and then I just kind of half inched it all the way across up to the top. And then I said, cool, now that I got that drawn, I drew my lines across and made me kind of like a lined paper. And once I did that, I decided, cool, now I know that my strips need to be X long. And I measured X long. I said, okay, which is X amount of LEDs. And I counted and then I trimmed. And you're going to want to always trim, guys, on that little, like, copper line there. You always trim with your scissors on your copper line there. Uh, that way, because if you trim anywhere else, you're not going to have usable LEDs anymore. And so I tried to get as many strips as I could possible out of the roll. I only needed one roll, so remember that you're only going to need one roll depending on the size of the strip you buy. So once I got all those cut, trimmed, and ready to go, I took my copper wiring. This is not the kind of copper wiring you're going to want because this is the gauge. You just want straight up like copper, like straight up copper wiring. It's like just straight up solid copper. And I, of course, peeled off the little coating and laid them flat on either side. So I had pieces on either side like so. Okay, guys, we just had an Amber Alert pop up. Totally nowhere to meet. And I laid my LEDs down so that I made sure that everything looked good. You did what I call a dry run. It's where you're basically testing to make sure that everything looks solid. You're gonna make sure everything looks solid, everything looks good. But what I did is I trimmed off about a good inch off either side of my paper, and then I taped it down to the table. So that way, what happens is my LED strips would be hanging off the edge of the paper, and then as I line them up, I tape them down. So that way, what happens is when the paper didn't move, I taped the tops and the bottom of the paper, and then I taped the LED strips down so that the excess hung off, so that basically they wouldn't move anywhere. And as I did that, it made a kind of like a frame for me to be able to, when I got all of them on, take the paper, slide it, untape it, slide it out, and just be left with the LEDs like so, minus the soldered part. Then I had my copper strips taped down a little bit, and what I carefully did was solder each piece to the copper. It took a minute, but with help of a third hand, which if you're wondering what that is, I'll show you that in just a second. I was able to solder all the pieces to the copper wiring. And it basically, when I was done with it, I was able to pick it up, and it looked kind of like a giant frame. And I might have one. Let me see if I've got that here, and I can show you what I'm talking about. We'll find that other thing, and on the next tutorial, we'll go over through details about Uh, cool. Okay, guys. So I basically decided that once I got all my things lined up and ready to go, I started the soldering process. And when you solder, you kind of want your soldering to be attached to the wire so that the wire is attached like this. Um, so you're going to want to make sure that you're soldering onto the wire so each little strip will be attached to the wire. And then when you lift it up, it all comes up as one piece. It'll be kind of flimsy in the middle, but that's fine because you're not really worried about that at the time being. Um, I highly suggest that if you're going to do this for a second time, you get you another piece of plexiglass and trim it to fit. And then you're going to basically sandwich the LEDs in there. That's my suggestion to you. Is get another one so that you can, because the LED, okay, so they lie to you. This stuff, it's not as sticky as like they want you to believe. So I suggest that you super glue or you hot glue down, your strips so they basically stay there. If you're gonna use super glue, you're gonna want the creme de la creme. Uh, you're gonna want this stuff. I will never ever sell you anything else. We bought this. It's gonna be called. It's basically Bob Smith Industries. You can get it branded with your logo on it. Essentially, like if you have a store, they'll put your store logo on it. I think. I'm not sure how much extra, or they just happen to have. Hey, cool! I've got my logo. That they can just make their own stickers to put on there, or they put on there anyway. It's Bob Smith's Industries. You can go to their website, and they'll tell you like the chart of how it works, everything in the back. This came with the activator kit. This is a miniature bottle, and it comes with 2 extra nozzles. It was about $12. Love, love, love this. I use this for any cosplay project. Any project that I need glue for that isn't wood, that doesn't involve like using wood glue, because they're wood. This is the stuff that I recommend. Like, go out and buy. If Adam Savage buys it by the case, it's great. Bonds metal, plastics, wood, ceramics, rubber, leather, glass, and more. Extra thick cures in 10 to 25 seconds. So yes, do buy this. It comes with the activator. The activator smells interesting. It's like a yes but no smell all at once. So anyway, so there's that. That's the stuff that you're gonna want to buy if you're gonna, basically super glue down. And then once you got this, you're gonna have your little wire here that's gonna come on down, and mine's on the inside of your CRT head, and I'll show you the inside of one. Here we'll look at one. Because I took this part out. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for so essentially on all your CRT heads, they got a bottom with this round thing. Majority of them have that. It's metal. They've got the gap there. I took the round thing off, and I trimmed it so that my head would fit inside. If you have a bigger head, that's gonna be your thing. Now I suggest you build shoulder supports, and I can kind of doodle that out for you. Is paint on here? Yeah, okay. So if you're like, hey, what's that? Well, okay, so we're gonna do this way then, so you can kind of see it. Where is? Uh, okay, done. Okay, cool. So we want this to kind of fill the whole area because it doesn't matter. Yada yada yada. Okay, so I got some PVC pipe. You can buy PVC pipe anywhere, guys. I got some PVC pipe, and essentially what I did was the current model that I'm building, um, I basically okay, that's not a good example. Okay, so we'll do straight down. Yeah. Not a good example. Yeah, so we'll straight line out here. So we bent it. So essentially, it does something. I can't draw it, any guys. Okay. Okay, well, we really don't need one that long, so we'll just do this. Okay, so we'll do that long. And then we'll do it like so. Uh, um, mm. Yeah, so basically what I did was okay, so we want to select this, and then we're going to say, okay, we're going to control C this, control V this. No, it isn't right. So I had a shape like this that I curved so that it fit over my shoulders. And we'll draw another line here so that you kind of get the idea of what it does. Here, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So essentially, it curves over my shoulders, and then that's the side view, and then here's the back view, of course. We'll do a slight curve there. And then we'll do the other side here to give it a slight curve, and then a little bit more curve. And then I've got a piece of wood that attaches to the back, like so. So basically, it attaches here so that it can rest on my back. And this is what you're kind of going for with a PVC pipe. Um, I don't. When I do my 2.0, which I'm working on now, I will gladly show you guys the whole setup and go through all that and talk about the 2.0. But I highly recommend that when you're doing your CRT head, that you do a 2.0. You do a you build this, and then you're gonna want to attach it to your frame here up top, like your CRT helmet. So essentially, it will rest on that your shoulders, and not just rest on your head. I had a baseball helmet on the inside of mine. I just bought a used. I just bought one, like a used one, off the store, and essentially what I did was I trimmed off the bill. Um, and I trimmed off what I didn't need. So I trimmed off all the excess pieces. And it's kind of left me with a dome to put my head on. Or my head in on my head so that it would hold the CRT head. And it wasn't like just floating around. So what you're gonna want to do is, I used a Dremel, and but you can use something else like a saw, like a hand saw or something. But I used a Dremel, and when I took my Dremel, I said, okay, I measured the circumference of my head and made a template, like a circle that was just a tad bit bigger than that. and accounting for my ears sticking out. So I measured because I'm lightly measured around my ears because my ears they don't stick out, but I want to be sure for that. So I measured, cut a hole, and then I sanded down. I started with 60 and got all the way up to about 400 on sandpaper so that I smoothed the edges. I wanted to ensure they were extra smooth and no fragment bits were left. And that way, and I did a test fit where I said, okay, cool, can I get my head in and out comfortably? Because that's what you want. It's all about comfort. It's all about making sure everything fits right. It's all about because you're gonna wear this thing for probably all day for 3 days because it's such a fun costume and people stop and take pictures with you. People will stop. They'll look at you. They'll want to conversate with you. They'll be like, "Oh my God, look at this! It's fun." So I had that, all that taken care of. I trimmed off the excess here, and then I got my head in there. I made sure that I got all the tubing out. Now the part that I'm not going to tell you about, you're going to need to dispose of this somewhere. I don't know where you dispose of these anymore, but you're probably going to need to take it to a recycling center. I think you'll pay $15. You have to dispose of these properly because it's dangerous chemicals, and this thing can explode on you. It's very frightening. So I suggest that you be very careful when you do this and everything else. So I suggest you be careful. Dispose of these properly. Uh, okay, so we're gonna zoom out here. What you're gonna want to do is it'll tell you all the places to take them. This is Earth 911 Recycling Guide How To. You can do LCD or CR2. It tells you cathode, the cathode raid, which is like the ones that you saw earlier with the big tube in the back, and we'll go back and look at that. I will happily post a link here. This will tell you where to dispose of them. Um, but it will tell you how to dispose of the inside part, which is this piece, and not the plastic. It's got holes in it, which is great. It was cool, but I suggest you get a computer fan and put that on the back and wire that in there somehow of your choice to get a little cooling air going in there. My other suggestion is, and I bought one off Amazon. Uh, um, okay, so I have this one. I paid a lot less than that for it, I think. But I bought this. It's not wireless. Basically, people have a hard time hearing you in the costume because you've got all that. You're having a hard time. It's loud. People can hear. So I suggest you buy one of these because then you can talk to people and they can hear you. That was my biggest setback was I had to do hand symbols for. I had to quickly learn how to do sign language for how much, yes and no, and I realized that we should be learning sign language. This thing does okay. For what I paid for it, it worked for what I wanted. The only downside is, of course, it's not wireless. Hey, I didn't mind the not wireless part for the headphone because I can easily snake that around and for my 2.0. So I'll tell you right now that the oh sorry. Uh, so the thing that I will tell you then learning in all of this is I also got a mini camera that's going to be mounted to the top of my 2.0 version. Essentially 2.0 is going to have a camera up top so I can film me walking around the convention. I did get the mic so that I can talk to people. Um, 2.0 is a way different aspects to it, which is totally fine. But it shows you all the things it can do. This is $34. I had an Amazon gift card thingy. You can find them cheaper. It's great. It's cool. Oh, it's got clippies. Okay, that's why. Yeah. So it's got all of this going on here. I You need one of these. You're gonna need a computer fan probably to keep you cool. Although it was cool in there. If you want to be able to hear what's going on, somebody talking to you, you're gonna have to figure something else out. I'm not really worried about. I could hear if people got up close to me. I constantly was taking off those so that people could. I could show them the inside because they couldn't believe. They were like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's show you the inside of this. It's totally cool. Let's go with it." Uh, so we'll make you a quick list of things you're gonna need. Alright, so we're gonna go to Google Docs here. Go to Google Docs, and we'll make you a new list here. Okay, so list for CRT head. Shopping list. Shopping. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it, we'll bold this, and then we want it to be in the center. And we want this to be really big so you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna go over here. We're gonna bold and we'll say 1. CRT monitor. Let's see. eBay. Oh, shoot. Well, they're kind of pricey, guys. So, if you can find one at the thrift store, look for them at the thrift store. They sell them on eBay. Oh, well, that one's sealed. Okay, well, we'll close that one out. And I'm just gonna show you. Okay, $49.99. Some of them are smaller. You wanna make sure you get one big enough for your head to kind of read and measure your body, your head, and all that stuff. 2, you're gonna need sanding paper. 3, you're gonna need LED strips. 8, we can say NeoPixels. LED strips. LED strip. Or strips. Okay, we're just gonna write down all the tools you need first. Mm. Tools. We'll write tools down first. You're gonna need, so these are the tools you're gonna need. Soldering gun. Solder. Snips. I'm trying to think if there's any other tools that you're gonna need. Oh, glue. Alright, so now, okay, so... Okay, so those are the tools you're gonna need. You're gonna need... I used a disc sander. Saved me a lot of time. Let me tell you, okay? They make sanding blocks that you can buy and you put the paper in there and all that. No. You're gonna want it. You're gonna want sanding disc. And the reason I say that is because that's the work in half the time. Okay. Snips. Oh yeah. We're gonna say 6. Dremel. We'll take solder and put it on here because that is technically a material because these are consumables. These are not. These are, I guess, would be materials. Yeah. So we'll take that away. These are non-consumables, so they're like reusable. Um. Glue or hot glue. You want glue, hot glue, or Boston Industry glue. Again, it's the stuff right here. You know you found the right thing because it might have a store's logo on it or it's pinkish. We'll leave it right there, and we'll get back to that in just a second. Cool. We're going back to our list here. You're in the CRT head, CRT monitor like the ones here. You can get them off eBay, but I highly suggest you try to find one in person and take a good look at it. Make sure that your head will fit comfortably. You're gonna need LED strips, or a strip of it, like a roll spool. We'll put spool. Spool, 2 spool for cool. Yeah, okay, so you're gonna need spool, guys. Now you're gonna have solder, glue, hot glue or Boston Industries glue is what I used. The time I didn't know about Boston Industries glue, so I used hot glue. But I highly recommend Boston. It's super great, amazing stuff. I should be a spokesperson for them about how great it is. If they ever do a TV ad, of like, pick me. Um, Glue or hot glue. Oh yeah, the most important thing. I don't know what you call these things, but they're buttons. I call them buttons. If you have a micro center near you, you can find them, or you can find them online, an Adafruit, and there you go. You're gonna need the Nano, the Metro Mini, or something like that. Arduino buttons. So what I did is when I was working, say with all the materials here, I just made a list of everything. If you have access to a 3D printer, you're gonna want, or if you have some way to build a box around your Arduino, you're gonna need great, and you're gonna need a wire. Um, I don't know what you call the other type of wire, but it's just thick copper wiring. It's not gauged. It's just a huge like piece of copper. Um, you're gonna need that. I will post a list and having kind of an instructions and everything else for all that. I'm actually about to go in about 6 minutes work on my 2.0 stuff. I've got to build a periscope for that. It's so you've got your tools. You're gonna need sanding paper, a belt sander, or a disc sander. We'll put disc. You're gonna need a disc sander, soldering gun, snips, Dremel, cutting disc, CRT, LA. The materials, the consumables. We'll put consumables. Consumables. Here, you're gonna need a CRT head, or a CRT LED strip, spool, solder. Okay, and then we'll put wood here. wood, PVC pipe, screws. Um, okay, so, and I'll go over this in just a second. We'll do. Okay, so back to paint here. So once you got this part built, we'll show you as another color. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to undo that. We're gonna do here. So basically, I built a box, or had a piece of wood that attached here, and it basically I cut the bottom part so that it curved. It matched the curve of my It matched the curve of the PVC pipe as because I basically heated up. Oh yeah, you're gonna heat gun. Let me put that on the list too. Uh, heat gun. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put drill. I know that's gonna go under material. Alright, heat gun. Not head gun. Heat. Alright, so essentially, copper wire. Yeah, listed all that. Okay, cool. So essentially, I took a piece of wood, and I basically said I laid it on the other side. Um, of my board of my thing like that, and then I traced basically said okay cool, and I drew a line over it and then trimmed it off with like you can use a Dremel, but I had a thicker piece so I used a bandsaw, so that my then shape now matched when I put it on top of the PVC pipe to kind of hold my thing in place. It matched everything, because I'm building my new one out of wood. Since you're doing the plastic PVC, plastic CRT, um, close this one out here and show you that. Essentially, you can just buy really long screws, um, like really long ones, and then that will basically you can drill into parts of this and then screw in and get it to stay there. The more screws, the more stable it is. I suggest buying the kind that you can put bolts onto. Um, so they're going to be flat on land. I can't remember which colors. Alright, guys, we're gonna be back another time with our other stream.